going to show you how we can use a website called Polypad. And it's actually, we're going to be using some math manipulatives to help students make relationships. And in this case, this video, we're going to look at a number line and we're going to be looking at fractions. So this is going to help us determine, well, if I look at fractions, could I estimate what their decimal equivalency would be? So let's try that right now. So on our screen here, what I'd like to do is model this as if I were a student. So you may have to walk them through this, or you can show them this video. What I'm going to do is first create a grid background. So over on the right-hand side, there is a grid settings, and I'm going to choose the very first one. So this breaks it up into nice units here. So then I'm going to add, if I go over here on the left, my number line. So drag that. So just click to, you don't have to drag it, you just click on it and it comes here. But what I'm going to do is focus on to initially from 0 to 1. And I want to look at the tenths. So breaking it up into decimals. So 0.1 or 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, and so on. So to do that, I need to do some playing around here in my settings. First things first, my step size is going to be 0.1 or 1/10. And what I need to do though, in order to make this work for our fraction strips, is I need them to line up perfectly like this. So I'm going to keep the default width as 2. Once you play around with this, you're going to lose that ratio that we have with our dashes, basically, with our fraction strips or fraction bars. So just leave that default width as 2. Okay, so there's our number line. Now let's think about some estimations. So if we were to have, again, I'm going to draw a pencil out here. Let's say I were to ask the students, I'm going to keep it to a unit fraction. What would be the decimal equivalency, roughly? So we can do an approximation, if they feel comfortable with that, with 1/5. So what you're going to do now is go over to the left-hand side and go into fractions, go to our fraction bar, and you're going to find here the 1/5. Okay, and there we are, the purple ones. So just drag that on. And since I'm dealing with just a unit fraction, just 1/1/5, I can just simply drag this so we have 1/1/5. Now we're going to move it up and put it on our number line. And it just kind of snaps in place. And again, because I kept it to that width of 2 and you can see the grid background that everything's lined up nicely, you can now roughly approximate, like, oh, the students may say, in this case, well, 1/5 looks like it's equivalent to 2/10. All right, perfect. And then of course we can have that conversation of what 2/10 looks like as a fraction as well. So we have 2/10, and that simplifies, would that be equivalent fraction to 1/5? Then because you can simplify the 2/10 down to 1/5. But for now, I'm just going to keep it to just rough estimation here of making that relationship between our decimals and our fractions, or fractions to our decimals. So let's try another one. Let's do another unit one. And this time I'm going to do 1/3. It's a little trickier. And because for those of you who know the solution to this, you know it's not a finite number. So it's repeating values, really 0.3 repeating. So what you'd have to do is think about, well, where is this going to be? A rough estimation. So let's grab our 1/3 strip. Again, unit fraction. So we're only going to need one of these. I'll move this guy out of the way now and bring our 1/3 in. All right. So this is where students are like, okay, well, they can look at it and think, well, it's not quite halfway. So they may come up with whatever their estimation is. They know it's past 0.3, but then you have to have a conversation. What is between 0.3 and 0.4, or 3/10 and 4/10? What are those values in between? So then now we're getting to the hundredths. So the students will have to think about that. So let's say we were to say 0.3, let's say 4 is what they guessed. So, or 34 hundredths is what they were guessing here. Right, they were able to come up with that estimation because they were able to line up that fraction strip to our number line. All right, let's try another one. Let's do, let's say 1/7. And move this guy out of the way. And find our 1/7. And again, just like before, since we're dealing just with the one unit, 1/1/7, drag it down and just kind of snaps right there. And again, I did this because I wanted to show you where it doesn't line up quite on that line. So we're again going to have that conversation of where it lines up and getting down to the hundredths. And the students could then come up with their estimation here. So they could say, okay, well, it's past 1/10, but it's not maybe all the way to the halfway mark. So maybe they'll guess, again, maybe something even like this. So 1/1300 is maybe their guess here. All right. And let's now add in some values that are not just our units or unit fractions. So let's say we're to do 2/5. So 2/5. We're going to go over, let me just my move tool. Let's get the 1/5 bar out here. And this time we need 2/5. Let's snap it in. Oh, nice. So we have it on the line there. So the students can say, yes, oh, look at this. 1/5 would be equivalent to 2/10. And then, of course, when we have another 1/5, we have it 4/10. So this is where the students can probably have that confidence now of saying that 2/5, so 2 1/5 is equivalent to 4/10. Excellent. All right, and you can repeat this process over and over again. Now, but I'm going to give you a different kind of fraction. Let's say we had an improper fraction or a mixed fraction. So if we were to do that, so let's say we have, 5 halves. Okay, so I chose to go down the improper fraction route. So we'd have to think about that. Okay, so let's grab our pointer. I'm going to move this guy out of the way. Let's pull out, because you have to recognize what is the unit fraction in this. So we have 5 1/2. So they'll have to see that we have to go to our half, but we need 5 of these. Okay, so there's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we now have 5 halves, and this is clearly where the students can see, oh, we are so beyond, if they didn't catch it, beyond our one whole here. So let me just drag this up here, and like that. So this is where the students can think, okay, well, wait a minute. We have 1/2 and 1/2 is one whole. Well, we have another set of 1/2, 1/2 is another whole, and we could drag this. And they'll see that, oh, that means we have 2 full wholes. And then if we were to drag it again, and maybe they probably actually get this without having to drag and recognize, look at half, another half right here, and another half from here. So they're obviously going to see, it's like, well, we have 2 holes, and then we have another half here, and I'll just drag this out just for visual purposes. Oops. My number line guy's in my way here. Let's make that quick. And there we go. So we have that visual. So they see 2 5/10 is a decimal equivalency to 5 halves. All right, so there you go. This is using Polypad, and we have our number line, and then we're using our fraction strips or fraction bars to help come up with that relationship between our fractions and our decimals. I hope this helps you and your students.